At the core of Firebase is Google Analytics, a free solution that tracks up to 500 events. You get clear reports on user behavior that help you make smart decisions about app performance and marketing. Let's see how we can integrate analytics into your web app. We'll start by creating a small shopping cart implementation because then we can easily add some events that are interesting in a shopping process. Alright, the shopping cart is done. You can add items, remove them, and proceed to checkout. The next step is to set up a backend. We'll also need authentication so we can then add user properties to the Google Analytics reports. I'll ask Gemini to put the Firebase configuration variables in the .env file so that they're nicely in one place. Also, you need to do that if your repository is public, like mine. Done. Let's review the authentication setup. There's email authentication and an anonymous user option. I was hoping to get Google authentication, so let's add that. If you want a better video on Google sign-in, check out my channel. There you'll find more comprehensive tutorials. I'll quickly switch to the code view just to confirm that the Firebase configuration variables are in place. Sometimes they're not. The setup is solid. With Google Authentication enabled, we need a sign-in button. I also want a user profile page where users can input details like age or gender, which we'll send to Google Analytics as user properties. Let's try signing in. And there's an error. Fortunately, Gemini was able to fix it by just copying the error to the prompt and asking to fix it. Let's try again. Now it works. Let's see the profile page. And there's an error there too. It was an easy fix, so let's try adding an age. An error once again. This time everything works. So let's go to the backend and enable Google Analytics. You'll need to select an account. You can create one on the Google Analytics website if you don't have one yet. There are instructions for adding the Google Analytics SDK to your web app, but we'll let Gemini handle it. The only thing you need to tell Gemini is what your project's measurement ID is. You could see it in the instructions, or you can find it by going to Project Settings and scrolling down to Firebase Configuration Variables. Let's copy it. I've enabled Google Analytics in the backend, so make the needed changes to the front end. Then I'll paste the measurement ID into the prompt. And we hit an error. Let's view the code. For some reason, the other Firebase configuration variables are missing. I'll ask Gemini to add them back, and I'll paste the Firebase configuration from the project settings. Now the web page loads correctly. If I refresh, we should see data in Google Analytics. First, there's the Analytics dashboard. The data here usually appears 1 to 2 days later, so we won't see anything right away. Then there is the real-time analytics view. We should see something here, but there's nothing. When this happens, check your browser settings first. In Chrome, go to Privacy and Security, then look at third-party cookies. They need to be allowed. My cookies are enabled, so the issue might be that Firebase Studio's test view uses an iframe. Security restrictions can block cookies from flowing through an iframe to the backend. Let's try opening the web app in a new window. Once the web page loads, we'll head back to the backend to check for analytics data. I'll reload. And there we can see analytics data. I'll select Page View, then Location, and we can see the URL of our web page. Now, in order to get the analytics to work in the iframe, I did what I often do: ask another AI for help. In this case, it's Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is slightly better than the built-in Gemini in Firebase Studio. It suggested setting the web app's cookie configuration variable SameSite to none. I'll copy those settings and pass them to Gemini. Keep in mind that this slightly lowers your security level, so only use it in a private test environment. Before publishing, remove these settings. You don't need them on a live site. Now the iframe works too. Let's proceed to user properties. When a user enters their age or gender, set those as user properties in Google Analytics. To see these changes, we need to check the debug view. And we see nothing. The reason is that we need to install Google Analytics Debugger to our test browser. So let's head to Extensions and the Chrome Web Store. Just click on the Debugger extension and it reloads the page. If you inspect the web page, you see new data on the browser console. There are all kinds of events and variables that the front end is sending to the back end. Let's try updating the profile page details again. Fair warning, it might take a few tries in your own project before the properties register. Looks like I got lucky. Age and gender are now appearing as Google Analytics user properties. Then let's move on to adding events. I want that when the user adds an item to the shopping cart, we get data about it, and the same for removing the item from the cart. Let's view the code so we can see the names of the events. There is the Add to Cart event. And there's the Remove from Cart. Perfect. I'll add all the items to the cart. We have 6 items in the cart, and then I'll remove them all. We should have 6 add events and 6 remove events. Let's go to the back end to see what we got. In the debug view, I can see multiple add and remove events. If I click one of them, there are interesting parameters. Here's the value of the item, $79.99. I guess the batch ordering ID is the product ID. Then we can check what we got in the real-time analytics view. There are 6 add to cart events and 6 remove from cart events. Here are the values of all the products. It looks like our Google Analytics integration works. Before we publish your web app live, let's run a quick security scan. First, you need to push your codebase to GitHub. Just switch to the code view, click on Source Control, and then hit the Publish button. The steps after that are straightforward, so I won't walk through them. I know you'll manage it on your own. Next, go to the website for your favorite security scanner. I'll use Sneak. My GitHub account is already connected to Sneak, so I'll just add a new project. Here are all my GitHub projects. It takes a few minutes to scan and now it's ready. It looks like we have 8 security issues. Just go through them one by one. For this first one, you need to tell Gemini to update the Next.js version to 15.4.2 or later. You just copy the fix right into the prompt, and Gemini knows exactly what to do. Once the security fixes are done, let's publish the web app to check that the analytics data is streaming in from the live site. First, we need to remove the same-site cookie configuration to avoid vulnerabilities like cross-site request forgery attacks. Let's review the code. The lines on the red background are removed, so it looks good. Click the Publish button and link your billing account. It's required for publishing. Publishing takes about 5 minutes. All right, it's ready. I'll refresh the page. And there we can see a new URL, which is the address of our published web app. That concludes this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. If you found it useful, share it with your fellow developers. Happy coding, and I'll catch you in the next one.